Hello there, my mate Vince back again on another Trying to Fix video, and in this episode today I'm with my brother Paul. We're going to try to fix up his Volkswagen Golf. This is a 2008 model. The MOT is up next week. You need an MOT to drive legally in the UK, and this is going to fail because the little traction control light is on the inside. So we're going to attempt to fix that problem today. My brother thinks he knows what's wrong with it. He thinks it's the actual main ABS module. So it's going to be a very involved job. But he thought it might be a good idea to film it because there's not much videos on this on YouTube, so hopefully it might help other people out, and I thought it might be entertaining to see what's involved. So let's get in the car. I'm just going to show you what the light looks like, and then we're going to start to diagnose it and hopefully fix it. Look at this. When I turn on the ignition, you can see it's this little light here, a car with a skid behind it, and when I actually start the car, that should go out, but it doesn't go out. And it makes no difference if you try to turn it on or off here. It makes no difference. So I'm pressing that now. That should come on and off when you press that button, but it should be on by default, so that light should go off. But you can see it's just staying on there. So 100% that would be an MOT failure. And ESP means Electronic Stability Program. So basically this car won't have the traction control working. So first things first, because this is a relatively new car, we can plug in an OBD, an onboard diagnostic tester, to get a reading from it to see what error codes it pulls up. So I've already got one over there, and the port that you plug it into is located just down here, and you can see it's that purple one just there. So we're going to plug in the reader and see what it comes up with. Okay, so we've plugged in our tester now. We're going to go to Diagnostics. And we're going to find our car, so we're just going to go to Volkswagen and enter again. And now we're just going to identify the VIN. I'm just going to pull the camera away for this bit. Okay, so it's recognised, it's read the VIN for us, so it's talking with the car. And now we're just going to go to Quick Test. Put the ignition on. And now it's just doing the scanning. Now it will come up with various faults because this car does have other faults. The one we're interested in today is the fact that the traction control light is on, because that's going to be the MOT failure. One of the other faults is to do with the rain sensor here, which we did in another video. It's just been disconnected. So you can see already under brake electronics it's come up with a fault. Right, the scan's complete. We're not interested in the top one or the bottom one, it's the middle one we're interested in today, the brake electronics. So we're going to go down to that. And we're going to go to read fault code. And there you go, that's the fault there. Electrical fault in circuit brake pressure sensor 1. Now my brother's already aware of what this problem is because we've had to order up the part. But if we were to go back now, you can actually do view data, and if we go down to the pressure sensor, it will give you the code. There you go, so brake pressure sensor, and it's code G201, and if we enter into that, it will actually give you a bar reading. Now when the foot's not on the pedal, the brake pedal, that should be around 0.5 bar, and then when you put your foot on the pedal, it should go up to about 20 bar. But it doesn't make a difference whether that pedal's being pressed or not. It's got a ridiculously high bar reading because it's showing 213 bar. So that's the problem. It's not that there's that much pressure there, it's just reading it incorrectly. So basically my brother has already Googled this number here, and we have got the part that we think we need. But this was how he come to this conclusion, by using this little OBD2 reader here. Okay, so the OBD2 reader has told us that it's a brake pressure sensor problem. The brake pressure sensor is part of this here, an ABS module. My brother thinks that maybe the brake pressure sensor is this particular part here. So this is the thing that's failed. Now, you can just go to a scrapyard and get one, but it's such a common problem that you could end up putting on another faulty one, because it might be in the scrapyard for the reason that it failed an MOT because this everything here has failed. So my brother went for a refurbished one. At the scrapyard it might cost you 20 or 30 or 40 pounds. This one here cost him 150 pounds, but at least this has been refurbished. So this is the ABS module here. Now it is tied to your car, but it's the electronic bit which is tied to your car that you're going to fit to this. This here is purely a mechanical thing, so this can be swapped between cars. Now my brother's just told me that he's looked online and it's something which isn't easy to repair, so that's why he's gone for the refurbished one. But yeah, apparently it's not something which is easy to fix. Okay, let me show you where it is located. So if you have a look right in here, can you see there, that thing with all the pipes on it? That there? So this is it here. And if you have a look at that black thing there, that is where the part number's on. Let me see if the camera's going to focus on it. There we go, so it's upside down, but you can see it's like 1K, can't quite make it out, but 614517. So basically that's the part number that you need to read to make sure you're getting the correct ABS module. Okay, so now it's time to get our hands dirty. This engine cover is going to have to come off. The battery is going to have to come out. The battery box is going to have to come out. Then hopefully it will give us access down into there. So let's get started. To remove the engine cover, we have a little pipe here, we've got a cable here that needs to be removed, and also this here needs to be removed. In case you haven't already realised, which I'm sure you have, with my brother nearly falling over there removing the engine cover, it was stubborn to get off though. We're not mechanics, but what you see here is real life. So if something goes wrong, then we will show you that. We're just people that like to do things ourselves. So don't take this video as a how-to, take it purely for entertainment. But at least you will see mistakes in the video, unlike other people that want to look like professionals. We're already telling you that we're not professionals, but we are attempting this job. So we're going to move the battery now, so we're going to be doing negative first, then the positive. And you need a 10mm socket for this. What bit is that, Paul?
13.
13. Right, so that's the battery out. And it looks like there's 3 more screws, one here, and one here, and they look to be 10mm.
On some cars you've got to remove the air filter as well.
Okay.
This one is just, hopefully it's just the battery tray. I think this comes out a little bit there.
There's a clip here, I think, Paul.
Have I missed something?
Just there. There we go.
Okay. No, I was thinking of, it's here that I pulled up, but it's okay, it makes it less bulky anyway. Well done.
And you can see we have much more access to it now. So now we're going to be replacing the middle bit here, which is this silver bit here. That looks like some kind of motor on the left hand side, and the electronic bit, which is key to the car, is going to be that on the right hand side here. So my brother's going to take a photo off all the pipework, make sure they go back in the same position. It looks like it's kind of going to be idiot proof because they're all rigid. He's just going to spray a bit of WD-40 on these just to make sure they come off nice and easy.
Okay, apparently this stuff here is better than WD-40. It's designed specifically for the job. I've had this a few years. I think you can still get it.
Okay.
I'm going to put some, obviously, around where the nuts go, where the threaded section goes into the aluminium housing, but also between the brake pipe on there, because I don't want these nuts to bind up on the pipe and twist the pipes.
Okay.
should really leave this for a while, but I couldn't get access to it.
Yeah.
Let's do it before.
Right, while that's soaking in, my brother's just looking for a little tray or something to try to collect some of the fluid. Remember, brake fluid is corrosive, so it will damage your paintwork and stuff. But we're just going to put something on the floor and also a little tray under here to try to collect some of it. It's incredibly hard to see, but there's a little electrical connector just there that my brother's just pulled up because we want to remove the electrical connection from it. So you pull up that there, and then it comes out to the left-hand side. Right, so this is the electrical connection here. It was a bit hard to show you back there because it's so tight and also everything's quite dark. But look, this is the connection on the top here. So you need to lift up that little pull there. So that lifts up, and then it unplugs away from the connector. So you can see that these are all the electrical connections. So it just pulls away there. So it's not actually too hard to do. You have to just make sure that that is fully up before you put it out. So we're just gonna put a bag around this now to stop any dirt and grit getting into the connector. Okay, it's time now to try to undo these nuts here. There's a little tray to try to collect some of the brake fluid. Also, there's a tarpaulin on the ground as well. It's an 11mm spanner that's needed. My brother's going to be using a brake pipe spanner. It just encases it a little bit more, so there's less likely to round it than using a normal spanner like this. So what he'll probably do is use this to loosen them off, but then he'll probably go over to the normal 11mm one because it'll be a little bit quicker to undo, but he's using this to begin with to loosen them off. So my brother's just taking a picture now of the pipework, just in case when we undo it all, they all start flopping everywhere. But they seem rigid. If when we undo them, they do start to flop around the place, then obviously we'll mark them up. The problem is with the brake fluid, it might end up taking the markings off, but we can put masking tape or something on them. Right, so we're going to lefty-loosey. So counterclockwise, as you're looking at the nut. Right, Paul's just cleaned it because he's felt a little bit of grit. Just don't want to go into the pipes.
Yeah.
So it looks like there's 6 pipes to undo.
Oh, I can't even get a bowl out of the car.
No.
I've got something else.
We haven't jacked the car up, you see, so it's just normal height. Right, it's so tight for space down there that taking out the bowl ended up spilling half the fluid anyway. My brother's just put a rag down here now, and what we'll do is just take the rag out every now and then and wring the rag out. Okay, so it's still dripping away, but it's not a steady flow, it's just dripping now, so I think we're getting to the end of the brake fluid in there. So that are all, the 6 pipes are all undone. And it kind of looks like they're idiot proof. It looks like it's going to be easy to put them back because they're all already in the correct positions. Now we're just thinking, obviously it's too late now, but wondering if it would have been better to actually leave the electrical connection in, because the thing is we don't want any of the brake fluid to get into the electrical connector. So we're not sure now when we take that off whether fluid's going to go all over the place into the connector. So yeah, it might not have been the right idea at this moment in time to have taken that connector off. It might have been best to try to remove this first of all, and then when it's loose and you can clean it, then take the connection off for the electrics. Now apparently this is kind of just held in with a big rubber bung, so my brother's going to try to lift the whole thing up and hopefully it will come loose. That's certainly not easy. Right, so it's loose now.
Bungs.
3 rubber bungs is there. It doesn't help because the pipes are fouling it.
it out.
It's these two pipes here on the left, Paul. That's it. Yay. Well, that wasn't easy. So at the bottom is a few, so there's locating bits there that are rubber. So if you have a look, you can see that there's 3 holes, 1, 2 and 3 down at the bottom there, and the whole unit here locates into those holes. So if we lift this up, these are the 3 things that get located in, and they're just made out of rubber. Now luckily in this instance here the electrical connection is clean, so no fluid got in there. Now just giving this a bit of a clean up, but before we put the new one on there, we're going to just clean everything in here because there's so much brake fluid that's gone down, and of course it is very corrosive. So we're just going to use a load of rags and just to try to mop up all the brake fluid that's fallen down there. Okay, so most of the brake fluid has been cleaned up. It went absolutely everywhere. There's little cables down there that sits in plastic guides that was full of it. The gaiters for the steering were full of it. So hopefully it's been mostly cleared up now. In hindsight, again, if we were doing the job again, it probably would have been just easy just to shove towels down there to soak it up rather than the tray, because it's so tight for space. Taking the tray out, you end up spilling all the brake fluid. So we're going to start separating now the ABS module here, and these two here are Torx 30. And now this one here is Torx 25. And 25 down there as well.
The screws go all the way through.
Okay.
And this part here is coded to the car.
Oh wow. Oh, okay.
See now that's in quite good condition.
Yeah.
Upstream that's a glue.
Yeah. So these are measuring then. These don't move, but something in here does move, and this must pick up. There is a magnetic or something.
I think that's the pressure sensor, and that's where it goes on to there.
Oh wow.
Now,
are they little springs, I wonder? Yeah.
I honestly don't know how this works.
Yeah. Well, we're just having a look here to see if we can see any differences between them, to see maybe what they've done to refurbish it. Interestingly, if this is the pressure sensor here, then these are reading the same. I've just gone across the contacts and most of them are open, but if we go on those two contacts there, then it's like 6,000 ohms. And then on the faulty one, it's also 6,000 ohms, but it is a little bit less. It's like 6,040 or something. There you go, 6,040 ohms. So not too sure if it's there. Looking at the refurbished one, the only thing that looks different, because a lot of it looks old, the only thing that kind of looks different is this one here. And if you look inside, it does look like there's a spring there. So maybe there's like some kind of like little rubber diaphragm or something in there that's failed or perished after all the years. But we can't quite work out what they're doing to actually refurbish it. If you're interested, which I hope you will be, I actually take apart this later on at the end of the video to see what's failed and if it could potentially be fixed. Even though we have the refurbished unit here already, it'd be interesting to see what went wrong with the old one, and would it be possible to fix the old one, or do you need professional equipment? So that will be at the end of the video. And looking at the rest of these, because these are all like sealed here, thinking that these must get energized and then create a magnetic field which then must pull up or down some kind of like ball on a spring to open up the different channels on the inside, you know, to get the fluid go into different places. Okay, so it's time now to put it back together, but using obviously the refurbished part. So while my brother's doing that, I'll give a shout out to the My Maintenance Massive. They are the top level Patreons, and the members this month are kitdigital.com, Kip Hakes on YouTube, Max Rokatansky, Chris Seal, Felipe at MrKeeps.com, DJ VG, Pigsy, Anthony Dean, Russ Melanson, Shigate, Rickard Bergland, Soul Reaver 555, Shamsa Al Sawadi, Stuart Park, Stephen from The Broken Pass on YouTube, Lee Benz, and 360 Picture UK. So as always, a massive thanks to each and every one of you. Taking the red plugs out, you can see on the old one it's nice and clean in here. Well, maybe this has been sat on a shelf for a bit because there's actually quite a bit of dirt on the inside, so we're going to have to remove that dirt, otherwise that's going to work its way inside. So we're just going to clean all them out now. Right, we're just cleaning out the little ports there with an earbud. We did it upside down to begin with, so if there was anything it would fall out of it rather than into it.
There was bits in it.
Yeah. Slightly worried, you see, because is it actually refurbished or is it just off another car and working? And the problem with that is you don't know that it's only going to last 100 miles or 1,000 miles before it fails again, but hopefully it is actually refurbished rather than just a working one off another car. Now we're just going to clean up these threads here on the brake pipes to make sure they're nice and clean, and also locate the 3 rubber grommets in there. Also, we noticed that some of the brake pipes, they're actually bigger than other pipes, so different bores. And if you have a look in here, again you can see the difference. This is smaller, this is a lot bigger here. Right, pipes are all nice and clean. The 3 grommets are now in. So I'm going to try to locate the pump back into position.
That was painless.
Did it go in? It's in.
She's in.
It went in a lot easier than it came out. Must be because it's all clean. Fantastic. So now we just have to line up the pipes and not cross thread them, just do them by hand.
Just give that a tiny tweak, I'm not going to go mad.
Yeah. Now again, I presume Volkswagen would torque these up to a certain amount, but we're not, even if we knew the torque amount, we're not going to be able to torque them up anyway, because the torque wrench is not going to put a spanner like that on the end of it. What I mean by that is the torque wrenches that I have, and also my brother has, you put an actual socket onto the end of it, like a 16mm or a 20mm or a 30mm, but I presume you must be able to get some sort of torque wrenches that actually work as a spanner. So then on brake pipes like this, you could actually do them up to a specified torque. But even if we knew the torque, we haven't got that. So my brother can kind of feel how hard they were to undo, and he's doing them up to a similar feeling. But clearly Volkswagen would do them up to a specific torque. So Paul's just trying to start each of them off by hand, and that way then you know that they're going in nice and they're not going to cross thread. Right, so that's all the pipes nipped up now. It's looking nice and clean, so we just need to put the electrical connector back on. We're going to pull up that big thing that you need to pull up to take it off. So right now it's down. There we go. And now we've got to feed it on top of it all. So it's going to go on top of the pipes. And you've got to push it home and then push down that top bit. Excellent.
It's in.
Yeah, that's gone in nice.
Yeah.
Maybe when you push the top bit down, it pulls it in the final little bit. It did pull it in,
yes, it pulled it in. It's quite nicely designed. The thing is, it's just knowing that you had to pull that top bit up.
Yeah.
Obviously, I knew it, but if you didn't know that now, that's not easy.
No.
Yeah.
So the battery tray is going to go back in now, and then the battery, and then we've got to try and bleed the brakes. Also, we're hoping we can still see around the pipes here to make sure that there's no leaks when the fluid's put back in. It all goes in nice and easy, and it really is just a reversal of how you took it apart. Okay, battery's back in, that's all connected up. We're just going to put some brake fluid in because we lost loads of brake fluid. Right, so some fluid's been put in there now and kept putting it in until it didn't drop any more, so there's just a few millimetres down the bottom of that yellow thing. My brother's just pumping the pedal just to see, and it sounds like there's actual, like a hissing noise coming from the ABS pump. So if you do it now, Paul? Yeah, so that's coming from there. I think we're going to plug the diagnostic in. Obviously it all needs bleeding, just to see, is it, you know, what's happening with the pressure now, see if it's still coming up with the fault code. Right, slightly worried, but no, apparently the sound's coming from here itself. So
well, the air's coming out there. I don't know about the sound, so my ears aren't good enough to find that. But
the sound changed when you put your hand on that. I'll tell you what, would you pump and I'll do that and see if... No, listen.
It's coming out here.
No, it's here. Look, watch this.
The sound.
Hold on.
Can you put your hand there? You feel the air.
Hold on. Do it again. Keep doing it, Brian. Keep pumping. It's from here.
Yeah, must be some good manifold pressure. Put your hand there. Just use your fingers. You can feel it. Don't block.
Yeah, I can feel it. Yeah, but can you see this is moving as well?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Hopefully we're okay.
Yeah. Brian's here as well today. We're using his garage, and Brian and Paul reckon it's something to do with the servo, because the servo for the brakes would use the inlet manifold to get pressure to make it work. So that's why when we're pumping it, it feels like it's coming from here and here. Right, okay, so obviously the brakes are not bled yet. I just want to see if there's any pressure in the system. It's still coming up with a fault code because I think you need to drive the car to actually get rid of it. But we're going to go into it. We just want to see, is it still reading 200 bar? So we're going to go into brake electronics. And now we're going to go to view data. And we're going to go to list view. Right, okay, so brake pressure sensor. Now let's see, let's go into that. Results! There you go, 0.44 bar. Fantastic. Right, let's pump the pedal, even though it needs bleeding. Does it change? Yes, a little bit. But remember, the pedals go into the floor with very little resistance because of... do it a couple more times. Well, there you go. So that's proved 100% that the fault was on that. So hopefully now if we bleed it all, hopefully the light will go from the dashboard because it's not reading 200 and something bar anymore. Fantastic. Right, annoyingly, we need this tool here to be able to get the ABS pump to work to bleed the system, because I've got no way of getting the ABS pump to work. And we thought it could be done from here, but when we go down to bleeding, it's got loads of cars, but it hasn't got the Volkswagen. So if we go down there, it's got all this make here, all these makes, but it hasn't got Volkswagen. So, I mean, it's even got Rolls-Royce on here, but not Volkswagen. So I'm going to have to bring this over to my house and try to update it. There's a little micro SD card here, and I need a USB-C cable, and then I'm going to try to get the software for Volkswagen on here. You can do it via the iCarSoft website, and there's a load of other updates as well that have other manufacturers on here, but annoyingly I'm sure that's going to take a good hour or so, but we can't bleed the car until we get this working. So I'm going to try and do that now. In the meantime, my brother's going to jack it up, get the front wheels off and get it ready for bleeding.
1 to 2 hours later.
So I've updated it now with the VAG software. It took quite a while to get through, but it's done now. We're just going to clear the fault code. So we're going to go down, clear it, and now we're going to go back in and see if the fault code still exists. So we're going to go to read fault code. There we go. No fault code found. Excellent.
10 minutes later.
Right, unfortunately on this iCarSoft, even though as far as I know I've put the latest software for the VAG on here, Volkswagen, when it comes to, you can still do the brake pump thing with the bar and stuff like that, but when it comes to the actual bleeding off the ABS, it comes off with not support on this vehicle. So it looks like this isn't going to be suitable to actually bleed the ABS, which is a real shame. Right, it's unfortunate that we can't actually get the ABS pump to work with the OBD reader that I have, but looking at the Haynes manual here, it doesn't mention anything about that, and it's showing that it can be done manually. So you have to, if you've been working on it, you have to do the front, and you've got to pre-bleed it using the front left and right brakes, and then bleed it doing the rear left and right brakes, and then on the right hand model you do right hand front, right hand rear, left hand rear. So I think what we're going to do is, because we've got it set up to bleed it while I was doing the software on the little gadget, I think we're going to try to do this and see what braking pressure we have when we use the OBD reader on it, and then when my brother's taking it from an MOT, he's going to get them to bleed the actual ABS using the proper equipment, and that way then it can turn the ABS pump on and make sure all the air's out of it. But for the time being, we're going to just do it manually. So Paul's going to be using this easy bleed system here, and basically to pressurize it he's using one of the tyres, but he's had to take quite a bit of air out of the tyre because you can't have any more than 20 psi, because otherwise there's going to be too much pressure for this here. So you're going to have pressure coming up here. You're going to dry test it to begin with, which we'll do in a few seconds, and then you fill this up with brake fluid. You don't let it go below this minimum here, otherwise you're just going to suck up air again, because the pipe of here only goes to around there. And then that's supposed to push the brake fluid through, because it's pressurized from here through this into here. He's got both front wheels up ready to go. You don't have to put brake fluid in here like you might think you would do when you were working on cars years ago, because it's pressurized, so the pressure's coming from above. So all we have to do is slacken off the bleed nipples, and then it's going to you're going to be looking at this, and when the brake fluid is clear and it's not like foamy or you can see bubbles in it, that means then hopefully the air is going to be out of the system. So we're going to do that one there and this one at the same time. So yeah, first of all we're just going to plug it in now and see if it's a just to see if it's hissing anywhere. So okay, so that's on there now, and there doesn't seem to be any hiss coming from there. In the kit you have various different caps. This cap that was on it just happens to fit, so you can have different caps for different brake cylinders there. Apparently as well, maybe the clutch has to also be bled as well, and the clutch is...
Look where my finger is, that's the bleed nipple for the clutch, that's the slave cylinder just there.
There we go, it's just there, just where the finger is. And this is dot 4.
Okay, so I'm going to pressurise it now.
Okay.
Right,
Oh, it's going down.
Wow.
where's it going?
It's dropped by about an inch.
Dropped a bit, yeah. So 11mm spanner is needed for the bleed nipple here. So Paul's doing this side, Brian's the other side.
Okay.
Now let's see what's going to come out. So you're just waiting for Brian now, are you?
Yeah, just shout, Brian, when you're
I'm
in.
ready when you are.
Okay, we'll start.
Okay, mate, we're going to do it now, Brian?
Now?
Now.
Okay.
Right, so
Yeah, it's coming through.
I'm not getting much. Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it'd be a lot quicker.
I did as well.
I'm getting a few air bubbles.
Hold on, let's go this side. There's nothing happening in Paul's side.
It's starting to come clear now.
Oh, it's slow though, very slow.
Yeah.
Oh, at least you've got air bubbles. So you can see all these bubbles here. Oh yeah.
Well, I'm doing, nothing's happening with me now.
Okay. Well, there's nice bubbles coming out this side.
Have you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Keep an eye on that reservoir, please.
Yeah, the reservoir hasn't really moved much.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Anything coming this side?
No.
I'm starting to get less bubbles here now.
I'm not getting a constant flow at all.
Hmm.
I'm starting to get...
I wonder, should we push the pedal?
No, don't pull. Because you've got the pressure already. Shall I try tighten this one up and see if you start getting some... Because I've got no air.
Oh, another bit just came through there. Hold on.
I'm hardly getting any air through this one now.
How is it even getting through the ABS if the ABS motor's not on? Yeah. Maybe the channels are all closed.
Yeah, maybe it's closed on that one over there.
Should the ignition be on?
Is the ignition... Does the ignition have to be on when you do this?
I don't think so. I don't know. It doesn't say anything about it.
Because there's nothing's coming through there.
Right, I'm going to stop this one now.
Yeah, stop it,
I'm
Brian.
going to stop it just in case we... Okay, I've closed it.
It's like it's shut somewhere else.
So you haven't
Yeah,
had nothing come through there at all?
I don't think it's getting through the ABS.
Okay, I'll shut this. Nothing.
It's starting to come through, isn't it?
No, that was
Yeah.
like, it's been like that for a while.
Okay.
Initially it went, and that was it.
Okay.
Okay, right. Let's just see how the pedal feels now. Probably dreadful.
Yeah, now the nipples are closed, yeah.
Nipples are closed. Oh, I've got good pressure. I've got good pressure. Right, let me just turn it on.
Yeah, see what happens.
Have I all clear, Bryce? It's safe.
Yeah, you're okay, mate.
Oh, that's it. I've lost the pressure. Now.
I wonder now if you were to do the bleed nipples with it running, would it come out? What do you reckon, with it running or not? It hasn't dropped.
No, still got plenty in there.
I think we're pulling air through, you see. There's air here, look.
There's a little bit, but there's going to be a little bit, isn't there?
Yeah.
Because it's not completely foolproof.
Let's take the pressure off.
Or do you want to open them now just to see if anything... Open this one now just to see if
try
anything's
your one,
happened. Just to see if anything comes out.
Solid line.
There we go, there we
That's
go.
how it should be.
That's it. Lovely.
Okay.
Well, you don't want to do it a little bit more to get the air out?
Oh, what, you have to simultaneously.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Do you mind, Brian?
No problem, mate. Okay, let me know when you're ready.
Ready when you are.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, go. Yes.
There we
Oh,
go.
I'm getting air, Brian. I'm getting air.
Okay.
Brian, we're not short of fluid. Can you?
No, there's loads. It's barely gone down at all.
Let's just run it. I've got plenty of brake fluid, Brian. Let's just run it for a bit. Leave it go for a bit.
Okay, mine's slowing down a lot now.
Now I think we might have to keep doing this back a few times.
There's no air bubbles coming out of mine at
That's
all.
stopped now.
Yeah, that's stopped. Unless you have to have the engine running.
Good try. Brian, close her off, mate.
It's off.
What's happened here?
Put a little
We've
bit
got
more in
solid.
there.
We've got solid. We
Well,
used
you've
a
got
little
quite-
bit, didn't we?
You've got quite a bit left in it. Yeah. Just out of interest, is the clutch working? Have you tried the clutch? Let's see if there's. I can tell you if it's working with the push the pedal in.
No, I've got no clutch pressure.
No, you've got. So we're going to have to do that as well, haven't we? Because that would.
Yeah, I've got.
We're going to have to bleed the clutch because that's.
I've got a bit of pressure, but not much.
Well, we're struggling here massively because it's only kind of trickling out here. The air's definitely coming out. Well, what we're thinking is that, yes, it's pressurised, but it's only going to be pressurised as far as the ABS. And we already know that the ABS valves, wherever they were, are probably going to be closed. So what we might do is run the engine, and then I might sit in there and actually press the brake pedal, and then that might open up more valves while Brian and Paul does this bit here to try to get some flow through. Okay, so what we're going to do here is just do it the old-fashioned way, just for the time being. But that's still not submerging liquid because it's still pressurised. But I'm going to go in the car and I'm going to be pumping the pedal, and then we're just going to do it until hopefully no more air comes out of there.
Do you want to slash it off? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Vincy.
Right, so I'm going to go down
Go down.
and I'm holding it now.
Hold it down. Right, I'm tightening mine up.
Oh,
now.
sorry, no. Can you pump a bit, Vincy, for me?
Okay.
No, I'm still getting air through. Just keep pumping. I've got loads of fluid. Keep pumping. I'm still getting air through.
I'm not. I've got a solid run. Can you put it down to the floor, Vince?
Yeah, that's right.
Right, I'm gonna tighten mine up now.
I've got solid now.
Now you carry on, Paul. This is the old-fashioned way. See if it works.
Do you want to keep pumping?
Yeah, we've got to do them in specific order as well. I think if we do it the old-fashioned way. I'll look in the book in a second. Keep pumping, Vincy. But Brian, can you keep an eye on that tube for me, please? The cylinder.
Yeah, I can see it. It's going down.
It's just going down a lot.
It's going down, yeah. It's okay. Don't worry.
An inch from the bottom, stop me. Yeah.
You're okay.
That's quite good. Okay, Vince, hold to the floor.
Okay,
Yeah, it's right now.
Now, if I'm honest with you, this bleeding actually took longer than the work in the engine taking out that module and putting the new one back in. And it's all to do with not having the proper tool. So I plugged in this OBD reader into my wife's old BMW, and when I do the ABS bleed on that, I did it just to see, I could hear the ABS pump going bump, 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 bump. You could really hear it very loudly, and it talked you through what to do on the screen, go to the front right, etc. But on my brother's car, for some reason, on the Volkswagen, it's not working, and I don't know why that is. The reason I got this OBD reader is because before I used to buy them for the particular car, but this one was advertised as doing all cars. But clearly it doesn't do all cars, unless I've done something wrong. I downloaded the recent update for the Volkswagen and it wasn't there. It says the function's not available in this vehicle. So I'm not too sure what's going on there, because if we had that working, it would have been so easy to do. But because it wasn't working, we were trying to follow the process in the Haynes manual, which is do both front wheels at the same time, then do both back wheels at the same time, and then do the front right, the front left, the back right, the back left, and just go through it like that. And it took much longer. And at the end of the day, it still needs to be done properly, because we don't know if air's trapped in the ABS module or not, because we haven't had the ABS pump motor actually working. So there could still be air trapped in there, which is unfortunate. But the bleeding did take the majority of the time, which is a shame. Right, we're not really getting anywhere with the ABS side of it, because we've got no way of getting that ABS pump working. Apparently, if it was like an icy day or there's gravel, you could take it out and then you can put it on the ice or gravel and get the ABS to work, and then you can bleed the wheels. But the problem is we haven't got that luxury here. We live in a built-up area. So what we're going to do is we're just going to bleed now the clutch, because the clutch doesn't feel right. And unfortunately, we will need to take it somewhere to get the ABS done properly, because although the pedal feels okay, the ABS is probably still going to be full of air. So we're just going to do the clutch now, which is just down in this area here. I wonder how much you have to undo it, Paul. Do you want me to...
You wouldn't think it'd be this much.
Do you want me to jump in? Remember, there's no pressure there, Paul.
No, I know.
So shall I jump in and then you'll see?
There's pressure on it, really. I wonder how I lost pressure from that tyre.
It still feels very solid.
It does, doesn't it? Vincy, can you just pump the clutch for me? Just see.
Yeah. Right, so just going down on the clutch. Anything coming out?
Oh, it's going now.
Oh, the clutch is held down now, Paul. I'm having to pull it back with my foot.
Pump, pump.
It's not coming back though, Paul. It's not the clutch isn't coming back.
Okay, 1 second. Touch the floor.
Yeah, and oh yeah, there we go. Now. Yeah.
Yes, I've tightened it now.
Oh, okay.
Pump the pedal. It doesn't seem to want to come through very easily. Okay, it's 1 sec, Vince. It's not the easiest thing to bleed this. Turn the engine on a bit.
Is your hands free?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll turn it on now.
Yeah. Pump the clutch.
Down, up.
Pump.
Down, up.
Hold to the floor.
Yeah, to the floor. And I'm holding it to the floor.
Floor.
It's down to the floor. Do you want me to pump or just hold it?
Turn the engine off.
Well, no air bubbles seem to come out of the clutch, so maybe air didn't enter into that part of the system. But the clutch feels okay. To me, it feels extremely light, but apparently this car does have a very light clutch. We'll know when we take it out for a little spin to see if it goes into gear or not. We've got to get it into gear to even get it out of the garage. So obviously, if it doesn't go into gear, this car's not going to move anywhere. Anyway, we go back now to the little diagnostic tester to see what the brake pressure is now that we have bled the brakes as far as the Haynes manual is concerned. But I must stress, it needs to have it done properly, because you need to get the ABS pump activating in order to make sure it gets rid of any air from that side of it. Right, this is interesting. So remember before, it was, after we changed the module out, it was like that bar there, but when we pressed the brake pedal, it was only going to something like 2 bar. Well, now check this out. So it's that when the brake pedal's not pressed, but when you press the brake pedal, now look, it goes up to 23. So I've got the brake pedal fully down there. I'm holding it there, so it's about 21. Obviously my foot's shaking a bit. Come off, and it will go to that there, 0.4 bar, press down, 23. Off, on. And then we can also do it really slowly, bit by bit, and you can see the pressure building. That's nice. So I'm going down now, bit by bit. So you can see it's definitely behaving differently than it was before. It's just unfortunate that we haven't got the proper equipment in order to actually bleed the ABS in order to, I mean, it might well be bled, but we don't know that because we haven't been able to activate the ABS. And now with the engine running, check this out. So it's the same when it's off, but when you press it, look how high it goes now. It goes all the way up over 100 bar. Interesting. That's just me pumping. Okay, we've really taken it as far as we can take it now, so we're going to put the engine cover back on. The wheels have been bled again. So yeah, maybe the ABS system is clear from air, but we don't know because we haven't got the tool to make it come on. So yeah, we're going to put it back together, and then there's not really much more we can do until we get it properly bled. Right, it's very dark, but basically we're on a private little road here now, and you can see all the lights have gone out. There's no ABS light, there's no traction control light, the steering light's gone out because that came on because the battery was disconnected, and the car appears to be going into gear, out of gear, and the brakes appear to be working. So overall it has been successful, but it's unfortunate that we haven't got the equipment to actually bleed out the ABS pump. So it's going to get taken to a garage or maybe even a mobile mechanic to do that, which is a shame, but the expensive part of the job has been done, because if you took this car to Volkswagen to do that, then that would be a very expensive job, probably worth more than the actual car is currently worth. So overall a successful job, but it's a shame that we can't just do everything and get it done and dusted. But to get the brakes bled is probably going to be about £100 or so. It's worth the repair. It is worth keeping the car on the road for £150 for that. When you send the old one back, you're going to get £20 or £30 back, and paying £100 to get the brakes properly bled. So overall, we are happy with it.
Why did it fail?
Okay, here we have the module here, and my brother's been looking, and apparently the bit that gets refurbished is the actual pressure sensor. And what currently fails, I'm not saying it is the failure point on this one here, but it is these tiny little bond wires that join a flexible PCB to the, I think the sensor itself. So I asked if I could take a look at it. Yes, he's not going to get his money back on this anymore, because we won't be sending this back, because it's going to be very destructive because I haven't got the proper tools for it. But I think it would be interesting to see the failure point on this one here, to see, is it actually the wires that go down from here into it. Now there's supposed to be a specialist tool that you put on over here to lift this off, this sleeve here. Now clearly I haven't got that. So instead you're going to have the pleasure of me using brute force trying to remove it. Basically I want to get the sleeve off to see if I can find out if one of the wires have actually come loose. Now I have a 13mm socket here, which fits quite nicely over it. So I'm going to try to just kind of bend it to see if I can get it to pop off. Because I'm not interested in the bottom bit, I just want it to go from here upwards. Now, it's one of those things where when it is apart, you will be able to actually understand how it was put together. But right now, I haven't got a clue. As far as I know, there's no videos on this. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to use this socket to try to kind of wiggle it off. And that isn't happening at all. So I get some mole grips, and then I just keep wiggling it left to right, hoping to break the seal. But unfortunately, I don't break the seal. I break it completely. There we go. Okay, that was very bad because it's left all the tiny wires behind here, and the circuit board and everything is going to be here. Oh, what a shame. So we didn't get to see if there was a broken wire or not. But look, you can see the tiny wires sticking up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And they're going to go up onto the actual board themselves. Oh, I'm really disappointed. Because what I wanted to get the sleeve off and leave the board behind, and then you see, we would have been able to see if one of the wires were broken. Right, so let's have a look. What a shame. Is this going to pull out from here, or do we have to take out the top bit? Here we go. Right. That's the circuit board there, probably all ripped. So this should just push down, surely. There we go, okay. There we go, I should have pushed that down at the very beginning. There we go, right, how is this done now? Right, so I've ripped the circuit board from there. So the wires come up and they're supposed to sit on these connections here. So there should be 6. Let's zoom right in and see if we can see 6 contacts. Right, so the 6 tiny wires that come up from the sensor are going to go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What a shame, I wish I could get in here, because then we would have seen the break in the wire. There we go, that's the 6th one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now, and the 6 wires are just here, but not ridiculously small. I'd love to know which one broke. That's, of course, if it was these that broke, I would say it was, because it's quite a common problem. Say quite a common problem, apparently it's a very common problem. So now, I don't know which way round this would have gone. Let's try to straighten these up. So is it? I wonder if we can see what's under here and how easy the wires are to remove. Are they loose already? I think they are. So there's a chance that they could have come loose from here as well. Obviously not all of them, but it might not necessarily be the board. They could be loose from here. Obviously I've scraped them off now, but yeah, so there we go. In here, I think. Ah, look at that. There we go. Good old IPA to the rescue again. So there we would have the 6 contacts there. You can see 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So yeah, there we have it. Right, let's just turn the microscope off. Okay, now I know some of you are going to say that I should have sent it back, or my brother should have sent it back, and then he could have got you know, 25-ish pounds for it, or 30 pounds I think, but it's going to probably cost a good £5 to post that, if not a little bit more. So but for me it was interesting seeing it, purely for the reason that when you look online, people are saying that it's the wires from here to here. I think there's just as much chance of it coming loose from here to here itself. So yeah, I mean, they've put gel on it and stuff, and I suppose that would help with the vibrations, but maybe there's a bit of heat build up here, it's near the engine, and maybe just with the vibrations over time, that is the failure spot. So yeah, that's interesting there. Now let's just see. I bet it's got nothing to do with here. Do you remember we had a 600 ohm reading before? Let's see now if we still have 600 ohms. I think we're just measuring the board there, because remember the good and bad ones still measured the same. So let's see if that's the case here. Okay, well, 13,000 ohms. I think it was 6 ohms before. But then again, we have got broken wires here now. So yeah, I don't think going on the reading here, it will give you any indication of the actual wires in here, because you've got to get through this circuit board first. So I was probably just measuring, for example, maybe there's a little, what looks like a resistor here, a couple of resistors. Maybe I was just measuring them. No, don't think so. Yeah, so there we have it. I think in this instance here, the repair wasn't a nightmare. You just need to make sure you pay a company for a refurbished part, because it looks like, in hindsight now, if I was doing this again, and it's always easier, much easier afterwards, what I would have been doing is I would have been grabbing this, if possible, lower down, but I can't get to it, and I would have been pushing down on this, because if I had pushed down on this while trying to lift this, it would have been much better, because basically it's just really this O-ring holding it on here. I'm not even sure if there's a seal at the bottom there or not. I'm not sure if it's actually sealed at the bottom, because it looks like there's an indentation still there. I think it was just the O-ring, and then if I had got past that O-ring, so if I had managed to lift this up, even, you know, if you were to possibly drill a little hole here to then get access to go from here and lever while using something else to push down. If I'd pushed down on there and then levered up on here, I think I would have been able to then beat that O-ring, and then we would have been able to unhook it from here and here, peel this back gently, and you see that would have exposed the wires. But even in using a bit of IPA to remove that, I reckon, because I didn't use a huge amount of force there and the wires just came straight off, I reckon that would probably lift all the wires anyway. Maybe they're not, they might be like wire bonds. You know, when you have a chip and then they have the bond wires going from the die of the chip to the actual contacts. That might have been what's going on here. And I don't think they're soldered. They're kind of sonically welded on with bits of gold or something like that. That might have been that might have been what's going on here. Why they're not soldered? Maybe it's to do with the size. I'm not too sure. I mean, that is microscopically small. So I mean, when you look now, it just looks like two contacts, yet we know that there's three on each side. So yeah, that's probably why. I would say if my brother was doing this again, there's no point in even messing with this hip here. Pay your £150 to the company. It looks like they're doing a good job, and then hopefully you'll have your car working again. He's going to take it for an MOT on Monday. Today is Saturday. While he's doing that, he's going to get them to bleed the ABS brakes as well, because for them with the right equipment, it's not going to be a big deal. Maybe all the air's out of it, but we didn't activate the pump in order to turn this, in order to get things flowing, because you can see that these move in here when you do the pump. So this moves in this way and this moves in this way here when you have the off-centered cam. So yeah, they'll have the equipment that can do that, and then it will be bled, and I think his car will go in hopefully to live a longer life. So really well worth fixing, and not a complete nightmare to get to this part here, and not a complete nightmare to take apart either. Just before I finish, I do just want to try to break one of these just to see, is it like a ball and a spring on the inside here. We have a tiny little spring. Oh, and a nice little plunger there. Okay, so plunger there. Now, what's going on in here? So I presume the magnet comes up, you know, when it's energized, and sucks this up, which opens and closes this here, like so. And then because of the spring, it always goes back into the closed position, wouldn't it be? Yeah, it'd be because of the spring. And then when this gets sucked up, I presume it brings this up or something. I'm not too sure.
Anyway, there we have it. My brother's happy. I'm happy. Hopefully some of you might be happy. I learned a little bit about traction control and also ABS. This setup here, this type of unit, is used in so many cars, and apparently it hasn't changed much over the years either. So I definitely learned a little bit in this video here, and hopefully the car will pass the MOT, and then it will get another year's motoring, which would be nice. If you enjoyed this video, give it a massive thumbs up, and I will be back very soon on another Trying to Fix video. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Take care.